Hi, Jovanitha. Thanks for being on the
Hi,
podcast.
thank you for having me. So happy to be here.
Me too. I've really been looking forward to our conversation. It's really so nice to meet you. I've seen so much of you online, so it's really great to meet you in this way. Thanks for being here. Jovanita, so I want to ask you a question that I ask everyone that comes onto the podcast. When did you find out that you're a creative? When did you first connect with that
Oh,
creativity
okay.
within you?
I began making art in 2018. I gave birth to my son, and I had a near-death experience at his birth. Where everybody's okay now,
Oh, so
and
glad.
and I felt like I was not living my life fully. And I wanted to do all the things that I wanted to do for so long. And
Mm.
I began to take drawing, painting lessons, night classes, and it was like something open in me.
Wow.
And yeah, and for the first time of my life, I was free to be me. I was
Wow.
free to be me and to paint whatever I want and just be weird me. And then I started posting them on Instagram because I heard that
Mm.
Instagram was the thing for artists. So I started posting them there, and people were liking them. And it was like, oh, people like them. And then a gallerist connected with me, and I was like, oh, like people want to buy these things. And
Mm.
then 2 years later, in 2020, we decided with my husband to give it a shot, to become a full-time artist. So that's it.
Wow, that's it in a nutshell. Wow, it's just so lovely to see you. Um, the way that you talk about your art, you just become alive, and the joy that I've seen on your Instagram page, that it really reflects the way that you actually feel about your art. And it's interesting how that experience, in some way, you were able to give yourself that permission to explore that creative part of yourself. So I'm so curious about your story, um, going from being a lawyer to becoming a full-time artist. And you're also open about being Asperger's. And this week in the UK, we're actually celebrating neurodiversity. It's Neurodiversity Celebration Week.
Oh,
How did you make that decision to go from lawyer to being a full-time artist?
my husband told me that we have a mortgage
Okay.
and and we need to pay it. But I have never seen you as happy as you are right now. And he said, we are going to make it work one way or another, because
Mm.
you are like, you are thriving. You are thriving. I was in survival mode when I was a lawyer. I
Mm.
loved my job. What I used to do, I used to help teenagers who have escaped their homes in Africa that have come to France to help them get their papers, their national ID card, and everything. And I love this job.
Mm.
But I wasn't my free, authentic self.
Mm.
And this is what I found in art. But I finally found a place where I could be me. And this really, it was in art, but then in my home as a wife, as a mom, I was a happy person. I was like, I love my job. It helps us to pay so much, but I'm I like this happiness and I'm not going
Mm.
back.
Oh, Oh, that's amazing. It's so lovely to hear your story. And I think that I'm sure that you inspire many others. And in preparing for for our conversation, I went through your Instagram, and I love the way that you talk about your own journey of connecting with who you really are, and now in some way inspiring others, I think, to do the same. And the way that you talk about your art, you want to spread joy, and there's that element that actually comes through in your art as well. Is that very intentional for you?
Um, Not really. In fact, I just began to make art after my courses, my painting lessons. And I was always amazed how people found joy in it. It was not my first intention to make happy art or to make cute
Mm.
art, but it was the feedback that I always had from people who saw my work, that it brought them joy, it made them smile. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool.
I also noticed I scrolled back to the very beginning when you started posting, and initially you actually posted these black and white photographs of yourself. And as you went along, it became more, bright and colorful, and you started using video as well. It was almost like more of who you are came through in that as well.
Mhm.
Um, what led to you sort of using these bright colors in your art?
Um, you mean what inspired me to use the bright colors?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Mm, and what I found in art, that it was a place where I connected with my soul,
Mm,
and I really let it guide me. And it was really that. It was like I'm going to paint, and I was like, I wonder which color I should use right now. And it would be, oh, red. Okay, let's go for red. And then, and I really work like this. I'm
mm,
always, when I'm making art, I'm always like connected to the source, to
mm,
universe, whatever you call it. And, and really, I'm always surprised by the end result. I'm always
mm,
surprised by the end result. And to be honest, I don't have any idea of how it's going to end up. And I just let it come to me, have a little bit of blue and a little bit of yellow and a bit of green, and that's it.
That's amazing. Yeah, well, it really shines through in your process. So you talk about being connected and allowing it, to just in some way flow through you. So
Mhm.
what helps you stay connected?
Um, it's the surrender, I would say. It has been a journey. It is not finished.
Mm,
And I, in the beginning of my art journey, like 5 years ago, I was really struggling with that. I was in an anxious mode. What am I going to
mm,
paint? What colors am I going to use? And then I did art therapy,
mm.
and it really like unleashed it. It was like, okay, I'm letting go.
Wow.
I'm letting you guide me. And this is where I found peace. When I surrender, I feel really connected. I'm like, I'm not going to think about it. Not going to overthink it. I'm just going to let it flow. Mhm.
Mm. That's beautiful. Um, what what kind of practices sustain you? I saw on your Instagram you also talk about your morning routine. Is that
Mhm.
something that's important to you?
Yes, yes. I pray, I meditate, I go to morning service, because it helps me to become a better person.
Mm.
And to be grounded all day long, and not let my thoughts just let me go in some sort of negative spiral. And that's what really helps me. Meditating in the morning, praying, and just connecting.
So it sounds like the practice of doing art has had such a positive impact on your own wellness, your own well-being.
Exactly.
Yeah. Has there been any part that's been challenging for you in terms of going into this journey of becoming a full-time artist? Has there been anything challenging about that?
What there are different things that have been challenging. The first one, I would say, like being a mom. And
Mm.
I struggle in the beginning, like how much time I was being so happy in this art thing, and I just wanted to paint all day. And, and I felt at that time, I felt like my children were disturbing me, and they were yes, and they were preventing me from being happy. And then I I realized that I am so blessed to have kids of my own.
Mm.
And I am so sorry, it's my cat.
That's okay. Cats are welcome.
And I'm so grateful for them. And they are, at one time, they are going to leave a house, they are going to live a life.
Mm.
So this now is never going to come back. So
Mm.
I, I, um, I strive to find a balance between making art and being a mom and being a wife and having all these and navigating through all these with grace and with joy, like enjoying every part of it. So this was one of my main struggles in the beginning of my art journey. And I would say like um, the second thing, which I'm still struggling, is understanding the art world.
Mm.
And I'm not at all from the art world. And
Mm.
um, I never even thought of becoming an artist. And it was like, oh, artists, they are people. That's not me. I'm a serious lawyer. And yes, I'm still trying to understand how it works. The gallery thing, the being an artist represented by myself, or the art fairs, or whatever it is,
Mm.
licensing. There are so many different ways of being an artist, and I'm
Mm.
still looking to find my way of being an artist.
Mm. That's amazing. Thanks for sharing all of that. We'll come back to the art world because I think there's something to talk about there. Just to go back to what you said around being a mom, thanks for sharing that because I think a lot of I want to say parents could struggle with that, almost the giving yourself the permission to create and do this thing that you love and that's actually really good for you. I think that's a very real struggle for many people, finding that balance. What really helped you to actually find that balance? You mentioned having a sense of gratitude, and recognizing that you have children and they're at home at the moment and enjoying the time that they're still at home. How do you do it on a practical level, day to day? Finding time to be with your kids and then finding time to do art as well. How do you navigate that practical challenge?
Mhm. Um, they are in school. They are at school. So that's great.
That helps.
So
Hmm.
they are at schools Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. So I leave them at school and then I come home and I make art.
Hmm.
I make art like sometimes in the morning, sometimes in the afternoon, depending on my level of energy. And then their father goes to pick them up. And when they come home, I leave my studio. I leave
Okay.
my studio and I listen to their day, how it has been, and just being here,
Mm.
and just being there. And I know that I don't go either on social media when they have come
Mm.
home. No social
Mm.
media or anything. I try just to be there. Mm.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, so you're speaking about that boundaries,
Mm-hmm.
so that you're not multitasking and you're allowing yourself to focus on the thing that you're present or busy with at the moment, whether it's art or it's being with your kids. So it
Mm-hmm.
sounds like that making that distinction has helped.
Yes,
Mm.
absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Okay, and then to also touch on the other topic that you mentioned around navigating the art world, um, I think it's very real, and I think a lot of people will resonate with what you shared. Um, it's so interesting. You made this complete shift from being in this one world and this one culture, almost that you understood and you had a lot of understanding for, and now navigating a completely new world, which I think is very brave. Yeah, and I've been seeing you going to art fairs. You were recently at the other art fair that was in LA.
Mm-hmm.
You've also been featured in some magazines, and so from the outside, it looks like that you're exploring that world. And I loved how you said that you're still finding your way and what works for you, and I think that's so important. I don't think there's a one size fits all. It is about finding your way. What have you learned so far in this journey?
Oh, I've learned that there is not, how you just say it, there's not just one fits for all.
Mm.
And there are so many different ways. And I'm learning also how to, but the kind of art that I make, who are the people who resonate with it? So
Okay.
um, it has, from that, I know that usually it's people from the US.
Okay.
From the very beginning when I began posting, and I don't know why. And and then I've been thinking, I used to paint
Mm.
and draw. And then I saw that I was mostly attracted by food. I began to make food. People asked me if I was going to make food, and I was like, okay, I
Oh
just
wow,
start.
that's
So,
great.
yeah, so I'm now represented by two galleries,
Mm.
and it's one of my income streams. It's not my main income streams. It's one of my income streams.
Mm.
And I want to have more of my art here in Europe. I live in France.
Mm.
And I love traveling to the US, but it's only 2 to 3 times per year. And
Mm.
I want, so right now, I'm looking to see how my art can touch people here in France.
Mm.
And and that's it. I don't know if I've
Okay.
answered your question.
No, you have absolutely. It's just nice to hear your thoughts around
Mm-hmm.
talking about what connects with others, and
Mm-hmm.
the fact that you picked up that you connect with, or people in the US tend to resonate with your work,
Mm-hmm.
and that there's also that there's this you have this desire to um, also connect with people in France, and perhaps thinking about how you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I also saw that you recently started bringing beading into your work. What led to you doing that?
I think that I follow the Jerez curator, and
Yes.
I think that at one time she featured a female artist who does beads. Oh, I
Mhm.
don't remember her name. Um,
You can
and
let me know at the end. I can put it in the show notes.
okay,
Yeah.
and she makes like rotten fruits with beads.
Oh,
And I was like, oh, we can make art with beads.
wow, wow.
And I begin thinking about it, and it was at that time that I was beginning to shift. I was not finding much joy in just painting. I wanted to
Mm,
do something else. I started to do ceramics class, but it was not that yet. And I was
mm,
still looking for something. And then I saw this, and then I said, oh, the canvas is cotton, and I can
mm,
sew through this. I can see what I can do. And I started
mm.
with one chili.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, I love the process. I love the
Ah,
process of just sitting down and just beading all day long and just
mm,
listening to podcasts, and I really liked it. And then it was 2 years ago I decided to bead my canvases, and
mm.
then I didn't stop.
Wow, wow. It's so interesting to hear you talk about things that inspire you, or where you get your ideas from. Um, and almost following your curiosity, like, oh, this is interesting, okay, let me explore and see where it leads me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so interesting how you mentioned doing some ceramics as well, almost doing something entirely different, and just seeing what emerges when you do that. um what how do you keep your creative spark alive? Yeah, how do you keep that sort of curiosity alive?
With a lot of rest. I give myself permission to rest and to sometimes just do nothing.
Mm,
And it's hard because I have ADHD and I always have to be like moving
mm,
around and just being still, being
mm,
still and walking there's a park
mm,
not far from our home, so just walking in the park, having a walk, and just being still and resting has helped me a lot.
mm,
And then I like to go to we have a local museum in our
mm,
town, and I like to go anytime they have a new exhibition. I like to go, just to go and
mm,
see what they have. I'm also, um, I've also subscribed to the Jerez Curator newsletter, and every day
mm,
there is one artist, and that's
mm,
so interesting to see what other people are doing,
mm,
how how they're making art. So many different
mm,
ways. So interesting. So that's
mm,
how I do it.
mm.
Mm.
I think it's so important that you talk about rest and the need to rest. I'm listening to a book by, or reading and listening to a book by Amie, and I can't remember her surname either, but the book is called We Need Your Art. She recently published it, and she actually talks about the need for rest in her own practice, and how she burnt out in the past, and now it's about really knowing what her own capacity is and knowing when to rest, sort of what is her maximum, where is that point where she needs to rest. um how did Have you always made rest a priority, or is that something that's become more important along your journey?
It has become more important because I have found that I'm a better person when I'm relaxed. So, and I want to be, I want that the people who live with me, like they're enjoying their life. I don't want to be like a cringe, frustrated mom or whatever. So
Mm.
I've learned that to listen to my body, to give it what it needs. Maybe sometimes it's a bit of sunshine, sometimes it's just a cake. So and just and I have also a morning playlist with songs just about the day. It's your best day ever. It's gonna be
Wow.
a good day. You're living your best life, and I have this morning playlist. And I make it. I leave the children at school, and I put on my playlist.
Oh my god, I love that. I think that's the best idea. I think I need that playlist. Oh, that's such a great idea. It just gets you into that sort of right state of mind.
Mhm,
Oh, that's fantastic.
mhm.
Um, okay, I'm thinking about what else we need to talk about in our conversation. Oh yes, I'm looking at my notes, and I saw that you're turning 40 this year, if I have it right. Yes. Yeah. Celebration. I turned 40 last year, so for me it was an important milestone. And do
Mhm.
you also see it as an important milestone?
Yes, absolutely. It has always been like that. Like at 40, I will know what I'm doing. I will be doing, I will be thriving. Like 40 is like it's like milestone. Maybe it's a fantasy. I don't know. But I feel like, uh, especially since I turned 30, I was like, I'm walking till my 40. Like, how can I make my life better and better and better till I reach this 40?
Wow, wow. And now you're there. Now you're almost there. So looking back, how do you feel about the decisions that you've made?
I'm so proud. I'm really
Hmm.
very proud because I realize now that I'm it there have been bold decisions and they have involved my family. It was not just me. I,
Hmm.
um, and I'm so grateful to have such a wonderful husband.
Hmm.
And he really supports me a lot.
Hmm.
And you know, when sometimes you are in an how to say, um it's like you're about to birth a series, but you are in this painful situation where you sense like something is coming, but it's not that, and you're like, ah, and he's here and he's listening to me and he's listening to me and he's listening to me, and that's so wonderful. And I'm so happy I met him before becoming an artist.
Wow. Oh, that's incredible. I'm so glad for you. We
Yes,
really all need that support and that
yes.
care. How have you found? So you talk about the support.
Mm.
Do you also lean on a sort of a creative community? Where do you find your creative community?
I'm part of the Art Queens.
Hmm.
This is where I met Joe.
Yay!
Wonderful
Nice.
Joe. And yes, I'm part of the Art Queens community. In fact, when we decided that to give it a go, to become a full-time artist, and I began to listen to podcasts, and
Hmm.
I found Art and Cocktails. And
Hmm.
at that time, this is when she launched the Art Queens community, Katerina Popova.
Hmm.
And I said, oh, I know it's in the United States, but it's virtual, so
Mm,
it doesn't count. So I
mhm,
joined in, and it has been in my journey as an artist. It has been so helpful
mm,
because I had so many questions. I am not from the art world,
mm.
and there I had so many questions, and you know, artists are great people. They are great people with wonderful, kind souls. They are kind, and
So
that's
true.
what's wonderful. That's wonderful.
That's
Yes,
so true.
so
I'm so
grateful.
glad you found your community. I think that's so important because I think being an artist or a creative, but also being in your own business, it can be very isolating. It can be quite
Mm-hmm.
lonely.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing that you've got that support, you've got that community to draw from is so important. Um, being neurodivergent and a creative, have you also found interesting neurodivergent spaces where you get support?
No, not really.
Mm,
Not really. And I haven't looked for it either.
mm,
In
mm,
the art, I know that in the art queens community, there are a few of us that are on the spectrum, and there are people that have ADHD too.
mhm.
So, but the thing is that I haven't, for me, being neurodivergent has been is is a gift.
Okay. Ah,
So I didn't feel the need to find um, um, people who can support me with this, like being a neurodivergent artist. Yes.
mm. And what is the gift that you feel that brings to you as a person and also
Oh,
to your work?
um, the thing with ADHD is that it's like having multiple windows open in my mind.
Yes.
I can navigate easily from one to another. And I'm alone in the house during the day, and it's wonderful. Like I just navigate from, oh, I should send this an email, and then what color I'm going to put here,
Mm,
and that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Like for me, um having managing a business and making art, being ADHD has helped me because it
mm,
helps me to go from one topic to another, like
mm,
easily, very
mhm,
easily. And so so that's ADHD. And then being on the spectrum is like, as an artist, um I always feel like, as an Asperger, I'm like a 9-year-old in the body of a 39-year-old woman.
okay.
And I feel like my art shows it. Like
Mm,
I have like a very it's very bold and fun and colorful, very childlike nature.
mhm,
And I feel like this is my autism speaking.
mm,
And I don't, like I said, I don't overthink it. I just go on the
mm,
canvas and do whatever is coming out. And
mm,
it's me, and it's always, and when people look at my art, it brings them back to their childhood with fond
mm,
memories. And this is not this is not something that I think beforehand. I'm not
mm,
intentional, but I feel like being autistic, being Asperger, helps to have like, um it's like a child. It's making art.
Ah,
And like people say, like you must connect your inner child. Like my inner child is just
it's
always there.
yeah, that's fantastic. Wow. I love how you talk about being neurodivergent as being a gift. I think that's so incredibly positive and powerful as well. And I think it will really mean a lot to others hearing you talk about what it brings to your art practice and also how it actually helps you navigate your business. I think that's fantastic. I think there's a big move to seeing it as a strength and as a gift. And how this journey of really allowing yourself to just be yourself is also reflected in your work. I think that's really, really beautiful. What?
Sorry.
That's okay. Your cat's very welcome. What? Or is there any advice that you would give to someone who's perhaps listening to the podcast who has this desire to connect a bit more with who they really are and actually be creative? And there may be where you were a few years back, still in a very corporate job that doesn't bring a lot of joy. What would you say to that person?
I would say be yourself and do not judge yourself. Do not judge your art. Do not say, oh, my art is not as I would like it to be. Just um have fun. Have fun. Have fun. Be yourself. Do not judge your art. Do not judge your art. There are so many people out there who will judge it. But what you're bringing to the world is so unique. When you're yourself, you are bringing your own beautiful light. And the world needs your light, whatever it looks like. And the world needs your light. And just have fun and let it flow, and you'll find a way through it. It will guide you.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you so much, Jovanitha. It's such a beautiful message and very, very important message. And I really looked forward to speaking to you today. And the way that you're showing up on camera is just the way that I see you through your work as well. And it's been really lovely to hear more about your journey. What led to you being in this place where you are today. And I think it's a significant year for you as well, turning 40. And I look forward to continuing to follow you and see where the rest of this year will take you. Yeah, thanks so much for being willing to be on the podcast and sharing your story. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.